what does it mean to mitigate damages after a personal injury accident? Well, mitigating damage is simply a legal principle that requires injured people to minimize the impact of their injuries. That means taking steps a reasonable person would take under similar circumstances to prevent further harm. A very simple example, not personal injury, would be if your roof is leaking and it's leaking on your computers and very expensive software, you should move that into a different room where it's not getting wet. And so the way it works with personal injury is, what do? You have an accident, so you go and you seek prompt medical care so you can get treated as quickly as possible. And then when your doctors say, go do this, they give you advice, you follow up with the doctor's advice, do what the doctors tell you to do. Now, the other side still might say, oh, you failed to mitigate damages, so we shouldn't have to pay you this much. So there's a few things you're going to want to do to make sure that you can counter that argument. And like I just discussed, the very first thing you should do is seek immediate medical attention. That shows, number one, that there was an injury, and number two, that you're trying your best to do something about it instead of ignoring it and just saying, oh, I have pain and suffering for months and years, but yeah, I didn't do anything about it. So you want to get prompt medical attention. Number two is you want to follow that medical advice. When your doctor says follow up with your primary care physician, or that physician tells you go do physical therapy 3 times a week for 5 weeks, go do that. If you don't do it, the other side's going to point over and go, oh, hey, look, you were supposed to do all this and you didn't, so you're not mitigating your damages, so we shouldn't have to pay you very much. Another thing to do is document your efforts. You're going to want to keep detailed records of your medical appointments, your treatments. You're also going to want to document any restrictions you have. Let's say you're told you shouldn't lift more than 10 pounds at work, then you shouldn't lift more than 10 pounds at work. That doesn't mean you should go to the gym and go deadlift 800 pounds the very next day, because then they're going to go point to people at the gym that saw you do that and say, hey, look, this person didn't mitigate their damages. And by the way, obviously this person's not hurt, because who could deadlift 800 pounds on a good day anyway if they weren't injured. And so comply with those work activity restrictions. If you're a construction worker and you're told that you can't, lift drywall or whatever it is you do every day, well, don't do that, or they're going to say you failed to mitigate your damages. So if you've got questions regarding mitigating damages, you happen to be here in Vegas where I practice law, feel free to give me a call or drop me an email. We can talk about it.